Great, okay. So, do we all agree that we're a municipality?
Yes.
Done. Okay, moving on to part two. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations?
I would say, yeah, small impact.
Small impact.
Small impact.
So it's no or small is the first check box.
Yeah, no or small.
Are we all good with the no or small?
Yeah.
Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land?
No or small.
No or small.
Agreed.
Fine with no or small. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No or small again.
All good with that one? Okay. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area?
No or small.
Any others? Any other, are we good with no or small?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No.
No or small.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it, if it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities?
It's not
No or-
grammatically okay, but when I say no.
Right, it's actually the opposite impact, right.
Okay. No or small?
No, it's not.
We're
No,
fine with that? Okay. Will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies?
No or small, I would say.
Everybody's fine with no or small?
Yep.
Public-private wastewater treatment utilities?
No.
Everybody's good with no or small? Okay. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
I put it could shade over that.
I say no.
Any others? No or small?
I-
Everybody's fine with no or
Clear
small?
about it.
Well, I understand what other opinions would be, but we currently have some wind turbines in the town of this scale that are in there, and pretty much nobody notices them of any particular. You know, it's not that we have one on every corner of that.
Well, and you should remember, this is basically,
Domestic.
well, it's a law that would
Regulate the height and
right
the
now,
use of them.
it could be huge, so this is,
Yeah,
so.
so I would have to say after, talking it through, I think it would be more small.
Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No or small.
Also on the wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, all that flora and fauna.
Not five. I wish you would have held a lawsuit.
Will the, what is this?
Number 9, Skip.
Oh, okay. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources? For example, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna. No or small? Everybody's fine with that? Okay. Well, okay, then the next one. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, drainage problems?
No and small, I think.
Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No or small.
All right. So everybody is in agreement that no or small is our answers for each of these 11 questions?
Yes,
Okay.
we get to leave part 3 significance blank.
Start.
do the resolution.
Nancy,
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
do we have to do a resolution now?
You have to do the declaration.
Yeah.
You have to
All right,
vote on it.
so then, we need the motion to, adopt resolution number
This would be 40.
40 of 2017. Anybody want to introduce
So
it?
moved.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Just to say what it is, this is, it would, it's a negative declaration. Resolved that the town board hereby declares itself secretly the agency with a view of the law update, and made further, the town board finds the adoption of the law update to be a type 1 action that will not result in large and important adverse environmental impacts, and that the town supervisor is authorized and directed to sign the short EAF, indicating a negative declaration. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great.
Madam?
Whose first seeker was that? Everybody's first seeker?
First property.
First one.
Madam Supervisor, I make a motion that we send the referral form to the.
You gotta fill it out.
Oh, we gotta fill it out, okay.
All right.
I say we fill out the referral form and then send.
Nancy has volunteered to answer those to, the planning board.
Yeah, Nancy.
Thank you.
I will do it as soon as we're done, but the project name,
The project name is the same that's on your declaration.
Or on the front of your seeker.
Which is, I think, wind turbine generator law.
Town of Palatine.
I've got a
turbine
technical question,
generator
are we
law
5
zoning
days
update.
ahead of their normal meeting, do we know
I
that?
don't recall when your meeting is, I know it's on a Thursday.
It's the fourth
Wednesday after our
fourth
meeting.
Thursday.
It's a fourth Thursday.
So it'll be on
So you got
next-
another
next
month.
month's agenda.
Yeah.
You're gonna be there, right, Betty? You can usher it through, although you can't vote on it, but it's on time.
Okay, now, any other discussion before we open it back up for public comment? Okay, opening for public comment, all the same rules apply. Skip.
I'll say these very shortly, but I thought I was the one that brought up history, but apparently I'm not. Because at least 40 years ago, there was a discussion about the Palatine Fire Department, and there was a piece of land that was, would have been given to them by the Rosberg. The other thing, the hydrants, now, there are a few places in the town where you could have a pond that would hold enough water to do you some good. One of them is not up by the town barn. I remember then that was discussed. But there's about that much soil there, which is well known, and I don't think you could hold any amount of water in there, and I don't think there's any great amount of water that would come into there anyway. Now, this business is tapping on to the Tangieri Water Works. Yeah, the mayor did say you could tap on. However, I don't know whether any of you got any idea where that runs across the different pieces of property or not. But you'd have to go a long ways, some places, again, where there's that much soil and bedrock, which would be an extremely expensive thing to do. So those couple things. One other thing, I have discreetly suggested that you have a security alarm system here. Haven't I, my friend, for the last 20 years? I did it discreetly to other town boards, which could have done it very cheap. This is the second meeting that you now have admitted that we have no security system in this building, in a public meeting. Now, I don't think that's the best arrangement. Actually, it wouldn't cost that much. I was on board in another place, I won't say where they needed a security system and they had panic buttons and stuff, and the cost was very little. But the only thing that could have made it worse, if Josh was still here and he put it in the paper that we got one, haven't got one in here. That's the only thing that would make it worse. Now, the other thing, I asked about this audit. I asked how far back they went. And I asked at a meeting before how far they hadn't had one. They said that, well, they go back 2 years. They're back far, far more than 2 years, and that's what they should be. I asked a close friend of mine who's been a long-time supervisor of another town, and I said, okay, when they look in your town records, they only go back, oh no. If they find anything they want before that, they go back a long, long way. Now, I don't know an awful lot about an audit, but I managed a small Palatine fire insurance company here, some in the 1960s. And every little while, we had the insurance company, the insurance department did an audit. And I don't know, I was gonna ask whether they were going to tie in these figures with such things as the written minutes. But I think you touched on that a little while ago. And of course, I was never in favor of putting that building up there. But I was to the meeting, and I doubt like any of you may have been to the meeting, when it was brought up and that they had then more money than they should have had. Just like you say we've got now. Legally, they were in a position, they had more money than they should have, and that's when they set that money aside for that thing up there. Now, I don't know whether it was legally done, but I've monkeyed with this a long time. I asked an attorney here, if a couple attorneys back, whether they had a right to spend any of that money for anything other than that. And that attorney told me that they did not. He did a complete turnaround here not long ago, and I don't know where that money went. I'm sure nobody took it, but those things are, the one last thing, when we had audits done with our little insurance company, the state charged us. Do they charge the town
For our insurance?
to do an audit?
No, no.
Okay. Well, I know we had to pay for it, and it was still a state thing. But those are the things my name is on that thing at the time they reported they set that thing up. I didn't think they should spend the money up there. I thought eventually they might have to have a building. But all the same.
Skip, you're at the 5 minutes.
No,
Do you wanna, you're at the 5 minutes,
No.
you wanna speak again?
no,
after?
I think I've said all I want to say. I don't know whether everybody understood it or gives a damn, but all the same, I did say it.
All right, any other comments? Thank you, Skip. Paul?
Make this quick, I know we all wanna go home. Regarding the filing and the grants, we've been over this 2-3 years ago. The board last year made the recommendation to go to the Village of Palatine, share the upstairs. It wasn't any good, because the judge would have to run there for records. Linda, you brought up about this room. I brought up, in the summer, the skunks living in the building. January, I brought up about the grant. You didn't answer my question, because it said it was gonna be done, you had it till March to enter. I don't know if that's correct or not. Little deja vu, you're talking about the hydrants, Chris? Betty and I went to the village 2 years ago when we were talking about building the building. Mayor Avery said he would donate the water to the town to fill the hydrants as long as we didn't use it for drinking. There'd be no charge. If I remember correctly, Chris, you were dead set against the hydrant running from the town barn because you said it was too much pipe, too much, if I'm wrong, right, so it would cost too much. That's what we were talking about building the building. But Mr. Avery turned around and said that he would donate the water to the town. That's something to look at. You have a dead hydrant at the Edwards' house, right by the Stone Arabia Church. But you would have to run it from the town of Palatine Reserve. All right? You're not gonna believe this, but I'm actually gonna agree with Mr. Novak here. This is a first. All right? The grant monies. I gave you all a copy last February from the unified court system. You could not use that judge's grant money to $30,000 for anything but new construction in a new building. The judge has to rewrite the grant to use any of that money.
He
So
needs to write,
I
like,
think,
3 paragraphs,
Huh?
and then we can use the money.
excuse me?
He needs to write like 3 paragraphs maybe and submit some specs, and then we can use it.
I gave you the letter. I gave it to you personally,
I'm sorry that you
Sarah.
and I have very different literacy.
Well, I gave it to you and I gave it to every one of the board members, and I have the minutes where I read it to the board. All right? I'm not standing up here. You really must think a lot of us are stupid. All right? So anyway, I think Chris has the right idea. Send the money back and have the judge rewrite the grant. Then you can use it for anything in here.
We have the money, we can keep it, he needs to write 3 paragraphs, and then we can use it to renovate our building, that's all.
Good luck.
That's a fact.
Reallocate it.
All right, well, good luck.
You still have to approve it though.
They are begging us to submit that. Chris is working with them. It's getting late. Who else? Go ahead, Sandy.
First of all, reference to what Paul's saying about that, in order to cover Palatine Bridge, he needs to rewrite that and get permission in writing, not verbal permission, to reuse that grant, because they do their own audits. And if they happen to come by and ask where that money went, and it's shown that it didn't go according to what the grant was used for, we can be in trouble for that. Okay, all right, so,
It's 9 o'clock at work. I don't know.
also.
What else you got?
Alright. The monies for the contract, I'm in agreement with you guys as far as trying to save as much as possible for the fire contract. I'm not against that. I'm not against you trying to negotiate to get a better contract or better deals for this community. What is important here is that you had those contracts in November. Everybody else got theirs in on time. Why couldn't you have negotiated this and gotten it in on time? Because that's important for insurance purposes to have it done by December 31st. And don't sit there and smile, Sarah, because it's the truth. Obviously,
I don't
you
control your
care.
facial movements, so why don't you not try to control mine?
I'm just saying, you think it's funny? It's not funny.
I think it's 9 o'clock.
Right, well, that's right. Try to ignore it. You
Anybody
don't have
else
any
like to
regard
speak
for the
before
town.
Skip speaks again? Anybody else? Good, all right, Skip, go ahead.
Don't slough off in these sequence things, the impact, historical impact. I'll give you a good example. You start to dig up anything on the road, on Kilt Road, and I'm gonna have more damned Indians down here than you ever saw, because it's a registered, Indian burial ground. I have a letter from the state of New York that says so, which I'm shortly gonna file with both this board, the highway department, and Montgomery County. And I put a statue up there. There's a lot of things like that how many people knew that we accidentally unearthed an Indian burial ground on Kilt Road? Well, I did. And I asked the lawyer one of them if I should file that with the town and the county and the highway department. Oh, well, it wasn't necessary. Yes, it is, and I'm gonna have a lawyer do it.
Any other comments? Oh, no.
Not too long ago, our highway superintendent done 2 test holes, just like that's up the ground that we were gonna develop. I took them out into that, the holes were 4 feet deep, and they gain water consistently. In fact, the most multiple root tenants practically the one came to the surface. So there is water impact.
What time of year?
Right in the middle of the summer.
Well,
I got it recorded all right here, so.
Sounds like a good idea. It's
I
a
got
good
my
use for
little
your
black
land.
note- My little black notebook. Okay, that's all. You believe
Any
the
other
lawyer?
comments?
Huh?
You believe the lawyer?
Make the motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
Well,
Any discussion?
I know what to do.
Any opposed? Oh my God. so
Yes,
much.
it is.
Much, Jesus.
The
Yeah, no one
my
hold
piece
him,
of
Chris.
property is on the state national
Yeah, no one
register.
hold
That's
him.
one of the things that's there, and I have the letters